Well, welcome everyone to the AD Lunch Series sponsored by Auto Owners. First, I'd like to thank Auto Owners for their extraordinary partnership. They continue to do extraordinary things for MSU athletics. And normally at this point, I'd turn to my left and thank the Auto Owners table. So, Auto Owners friends, pretend that you're having a great lunch with all of us in a packed room, and thanks for all you do. Also, thanks to everyone for tuning in wherever you may be. One of the great advantages that we've had over the last years the last several months by taking these AD lunches on the web, we've been able to appeal to a much larger audience, really spanning the globe. And so wherever you are in the world today, hopefully this little bit of East Lansing will bring you some happiness. So thanks so much for joining. Hope you've all had a great start to 2021. Here at MSU Athletics, we're extraordinarily busy as we welcome the return of competition for a majority of our sports. With the change in planning, 24 of our 25 sports will be competing between January and the end of the academic year. So whether they've already begun competition or they're beginning to get tested as they prepare to begin their seasons, the excitement of our student athletes and coaches is really beyond measure. And that's why we exist, to provide opportunities for our student athletes to compete in the sports that they love while earning a world-class education here at Michigan State University. Now and through the spring, 700 student athletes in 25 sports will be back in action, with some, as I say, competing in a season they're not accustomed to. I really commend them for their efforts, along with the efforts of our health team, our athletic trainers, our nutrition staff, our physician staff, and our events management team, who's pulling all this off under really extraordinary circumstances. They've been creative and industrious to find ways to ensure the health and safety of all our student athletes, coaches, and other participants, while juggling a lot of tight schedules and venue changes. This pandemic has literally changed the game on how we compete, but every effort has been and will continue to be focused on our student athletes' experience. Today, you'll hear from Spartan head coaches and student athletes in women's tennis, men's golf, baseball, and football as they provide you updates on their respective programs and share their MSU experience. You can help us commit to excellence and invest in our student athletes' success by visiting SpartanFund.net. Please consider making an unrestricted gift to MSU Athletics through the Spartan Fund that will provide flexibility to meet our most pressing needs, such as scholarships for our returning senior student athletes, COVID-related expenses, and academic support. Let's get started with today's program. First up is Kim Bruno. Kim is in her 5th season as head coach of the Michigan State women's tennis program. The past 4 seasons under Kim's leadership, the Spartans achieved 3 seasons with a winning Big Ten record before the season was shut down last year. This was the first time in Spartan women's tennis program history in which the team had 3 straight winning Big Ten seasons. Last season, MSU was only able to play 1 conference game before the season was canceled due to the COVID-19 pandemic. But during the abbreviated 2020 season, Kim led the Spartans to 8 overall wins. Michigan State was able to earn wins over Alabama, Dartmouth, and Gonzaga, among others. Under her leadership, last season, Mary Lewis earned MSU's first All-Big Ten honor since 2015. Mary finished the shortened season with a 10-1 record in singles. Now, those of you who are regulars to our AD lunches know that part of the fun is you learn things here you can't get anywhere else. You provide at least one fun fact for each coach, something you can't find online no matter how long you Google. So our fun fact about Kim, and I'm not sure this is actually fun for Kim, but our fun fact about Kim is she loves to ski. In the water, on the snow, she can barefoot water ski. Her favorite vacation place is anywhere where she can ski, especially when it's steep. Kim's also so far as to do skiing, dropping off a helicopter onto a mountaintop, which is a little too crazy for my blood. But Kim, welcome to the program. And what's your favorite skiing experience?
Awesome, Bill. Good to see you. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, Spartan Nation. I'm thrilled to be here today. You're putting me on the spot with that. I didn't even know you knew that about me. I mean, yeah, that helicopter drop, that's just living for me. Like, it's euphoric. It's the steeper, the better. Like you said, you're out there in nature. I love being outside and just, pushing yourself to extreme, doing things that not a lot of people have done just gives me a thrill like no other. And it gets the heart pumping and makes you appreciate a lot in life. So those are the moments that I do truly enjoy. And hopefully one day I'll have my little daughter. She's a year and a half, and she's already, I threw her on skis already. So she'll be my little helicopter drop buddy one day. I'm hopeful.
Very good. How are things going in women's tennis?
You know what? We're hanging in there. We definitely, like you stated earlier, it wasn't easy having that season. We're playing good. We're getting better as a program and looking forward to just hit the Big Tens. And all of a sudden, you put your heart and soul into something and it just gets ripped out from under you. But you know what? People, and especially student athletes, are extremely resilient, and they overcome tough situations time and time again. And my players have been extraordinary in doing that. I couldn't be more proud of how they've come together. They show up every day ready to go. And we still don't have a schedule or anything for what, like they go through testing, we go through all these things, and there's so much uncertainty out there, but we've remained hopeful, and even more determined when that schedule does come out that we're going to stay healthy enough to do the best we can to compete in that, because that's what we're really looking forward to. Every day they're bettering themselves. So I couldn't be more proud of how they've overcome that adversity that has been thrown there. And it's just a different time for student athletes and students and all of us in general. I hope everyone who's watching this, I really hope that you're healthy and safe. And I couldn't be more appreciative that you're, tuning in and supporting us today, by the way. So thank you for all that. But that's kind of, how we've kind of overcome COVID, just togetherness and hopeful, and just put your head down and the day-to-day stuff. So I guess what Bill said is, I guess I successfully completed 3 years here. Last year was cut short, like I just described. And during that time here, we're a program that's headed this way. A lot of program firsts, a lot of, first time beating teams, first time having winning records, first time being ranked as high as we've been ranked. So it's been fun. It's been enjoyable. And I'll tell you what, this next student athlete that I'm going to introduce is one of the key ingredients. There's multiple ingredients that you need to make a team successful, and she is one of those key ingredients that you need for that program to take a trajectory, and how it's taken the trajectory that it has. So I'm going to introduce to you Caroline Szabo. She is a senior from Midland, Michigan. She has a double major in supply chain management and human biology. She has a perfect 4.0. She leads the team in community service hours. In 2020, she got 160 community service hours. I literally have no idea how this kid has time to sleep and excel at the level that she does. Caroline she was one of my first recruits. She's a recruited walk-on who could have gotten a full scholarship to lots of really solid Division I tennis programs. Instead, she chose Michigan State, where she knew it would be harder to make our lineup, and she got her own scholarship, an academic scholarship. She is insanely brilliant. You know how they say champions are built during those invisible mornings. Well, I also believe that good teams are built on sometimes those invisible people you don't see every day in your starting lineup, people you don't read about every single day because they're, not in the limelight all the time, but they're still, guess what? They're the ones pushing themselves harder. They're the ones holding their teammates accountable, pushing their teammates that day, giving them, the lift that they need. And they're the ones who are really, which is the most important thing that I think we have, is develop and maintaining that team culture. And that is what Caroline does for Michigan State women's tennis. She is the heart and soul of that. So I know we have a ton of amazing coaches and student athletes to hear from, and I could go on and on for literally the rest of this luncheon about Caroline Szabo, but I'll leave you guys with a couple of tidbits about her. She's one of the only student athletes that literally I laugh till I cry, probably once a week with her, and I don't even know the reason why, but she does that for me. She will be the person, the doctor, when she's a world-renowned doctor, that will give me my first knee replacement. Don't forget that, Carol. She also will always go down in program history as having the best tweener, which is this when you're running backwards for a lob, you hit it between your legs. And she almost can hit that better than some of her other shots. It is ridiculous how she can do that. So that she will go down in program history with her tweener. Every time Christmas comes around, you got to think about Caroline after Thanksgiving. She's already wearing her Christmas socks until it's Christmas, and then when Christmas is done, she's already counting down the days to next Christmas. It'll be like, hey, Carol, how many days till Christmas? 200, coach. She knows exactly what that is. Probably she just has that kind of spirit. She has like a little Christmas spirit. She is just awesome in every single way, and I could not be more proud to introduce our senior captain, Caroline Szabo.
Well, thank you, Coach Bruno, for all the kind words. I'm happy you didn't share any negative stories with everyone. Kept it positive here. But thank you all for tuning in today. As Coach Bruno said, my name is Caroline Szabo, and I'm a senior on the tennis team. Actually, before I get started talking a little bit more about my experience as an athlete here at Michigan State, I wanted to start off with what we on the tennis team call the quote of the day. It's a daily tradition for the coaches to share some sort of inspirational quote before practice. So I want to do the same with all of you. And the quote that I am going to share today is, "The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step." This is actually our associate head coach Tyler's favorite quote, and he bothers us every single week because he says it no less than 3 times each week just because he knows it's going to annoy us. But I chose it because between all of the hours spent on the tennis court, in the classroom, traveling, and even kayaking, which I'll touch on a little bit more later, I can definitely say that my time as a Spartan athlete has been a journey. I first decided to take the first step in my journey and come to Michigan State because I wanted to be a part of a tennis program where I would constantly be pushed to be just a little bit better each and every day. When I came on a visit, I was incredibly impressed with how the team supported each other, but especially how committed the coaches were to helping each player grow on and off the court as individuals and as teammates. In my time at Michigan State, I've learned a lot of things, but one of the most important lessons that I am going to take away is how to be comfortable being uncomfortable. The coaches say this all the time to us in practice because on the tennis court, you definitely can't always win with your strength. The only way for us to really move our games forward and keep competing at the Big Ten level is to continue to work on new skills and new tactics. For me, this lesson is really transferred off the court as well. I've learned to recognize that getting better at something typically means failing at it the first time, or maybe even a dozen times in a lot of cases, the first time you try it. So as someone who always liked to stay in their comfort zone, this lesson will definitely serve me well in my career and throughout the rest of my life. Now, I'm done with all the seriousness. So since I promised to talk about kayaking, I want to share my favorite memory from my time here at Michigan State. Over spring break, my sophomore year in Las Vegas, we took a team kayak trip that was 12 miles beginning at the Hoover Dam. The views on the trip were absolutely gorgeous, but as can be expected, with a group of 10 inexperienced and I'll admit somewhat whiny college girls, we had a lot of mishaps along the way that actually made the trip much more memorable. Personally, I shared a kayak with my teammate Sammy, who decided about a mile into the trip that she would be the designated photographer for our kayak. So I was left to paddle the remaining 11 miles all by myself. On top of that, Sammy and I either had a defective kayak, which we still hold is the truth to this day, or we were just terrible at kayaking, which is what Coach thinks, and she could be right. Because instead of going forward like we were supposed to, we spent the day just zigzagging across between the two riverbanks. And I think we ended up paddling about 24 miles rather than the 12 that the trip was intended to be. Coach Bruno, of course, had no mercy on us and decided that the minute we got back from the trip, even though we all had noodle arms, that we were going to practice for the following 2 hours. But that's why we're getting better and hopefully are going to win a Big Ten title this year. Despite the physical challenge, though, I had a blast, and I was so grateful to spend the day doing something so unique with some of my best friends. Although my journey at Michigan State will be ending soon, unfortunately, I'm incredibly grateful for all of the opportunities that this school and this program have given me. The lessons that I've learned and all of the memories that I've made that have come between court time, but also just the little things when we're traveling or sitting in the locker room before practice, all of it will truly last a lifetime. I'm really thankful for all of the coaches, my teammates, Mr. Beekman, and everyone else in the athletic department for making these experiences possible. And they certainly wouldn't be possible without the support of all the Spartan donors and fans. So for that, we appreciate all of you. Thank you for your continued support of Spartan Athletics, and go Green.
Well, Kim and Caroline, thanks so much for joining us today, for sharing your MSU experience. And Caroline, thanks for that lesson to avoid kayaks with Coach Bruno. I will take that to heart. Occasionally we get together with the coaches, and now I've got one more thing on my list of things not to do. So,
see, if you're in her kayak, you're golden because she's an expert. But if you're on your own, she'll just laugh at you and look back and wave. So,
I'm understood. Message received. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, everyone.
So let's bring in our next head coach, Casey Lubon, who leads our men's golf program. Casey is in his 10th season as head coach of the Spartans and his 13th as a head coach overall. He led Michigan State to the NCAA regionals in each of the last 4 seasons and has guided the Spartans to at least one tournament win in each of his 8 complete seasons. Casey finished his career as a Spartan men's golfer with the 5th lowest average in program history. He's the only Spartan head coach to have appeared on a reality TV show, appearing on Golf Channel's Big Break X in 2008. His team motto is "Everything Matters," instilling attention to detail and striving for excellence in all phases of life. A fun fact about Casey, his older brother was a country music recording artist. So, Casey, tell us, did he ever make it big? Oh, Casey, you're on mute.
There Sorry about that. Yeah, no, he was. He's the talented one in the family, Bill. He played the House of Blues, wrote songs with Keith Urban, and I watched him open with Brooks and Dunn in front of about 10,000 people. So, my favorite though is that my mom would never get nervous when he was on stage, but she'd get nervous when I was playing golf because you could screw up a 7-iron, but your vocal cords usually worked how they were supposed to.
Very good. Very good. Well, thanks for joining us today. How are things going in men's golf?
Well, thank you everybody for being here, and thanks to Sarah and everybody for helping us put this together. Things are growing incredibly well. I've said this a lot, excuse me, in the last couple of months. The fall semester might have been one of the most enjoyable and productive semesters of my career at Michigan State. And I think when people hear me say that, they're taken aback. Our sport is so unique, and how we prep and how quickly we play between events. A lot like baseball, maybe in the spring. So we got a chance to really slow down and have a productive session this last fall, and we got to watch our guys do some things that were incredibly special. I'd like to go into a little bit of it, just some of the highlights in the fall, and talk about why we're so proud and why we're excited about the season ahead. First of all, academically, I've never seen this before from my guys. Usually golfers are on the road longer than everybody else. Our practice sessions are longer than everybody else. They've always been good in the classroom, but when 6 of your 11 current players get a 4.0 in the fall, obviously that's something to be very proud of. 3.8, 3 more guys got a 3.8 or better. The whole team was a 3.84 cumulative in the fall. So we took care of that commitment that we made to each other. We're trying to track down Gene Orlando and the men's tennis team, who's one of the strongest in the country on the men's side. And we're trying to track down the women's team, the women's golf team, who's doing so well. So our guys made a great commitment there. The other thing we did that was, it's very unique and was something we're very proud of, is we had some very fruitful and engaging conversations on social injustice. We're so proud, of 2 of our guys. We have the only 2 African-American athletes in the Big Ten in men's golf on our team. And you're going to get to meet one of them today, who's an all-timer for me, one of my all-time favorite recruits and all-time favorite players, who's just a special young man. But we got to have a lot of discussions in a sport that doesn't have a lot of diversity and growth through that. And then we had very limited issues with COVID, so we were lucky that way. Our sport has been blessed that we're not having, because we're outside and we're generally far apart from each other, we haven't had a lot of issues there. And then lastly, we got to practice differently, and I want to go into that a little bit. So if you watch Tiger Woods before the Masters, he's going to prep for a month at home. He's going to do all these little things he needs to do to get better, and then he's getting into competition and test it. In college golf, it's like survival. We play on a Monday, Tuesday, we fly home, get some classwork on, do some laundry. We're back on the road, 4, 5, 6 days later. So you're really surviving the whole time and trying to find a key to get you through the next week. In this situation, we got to break down swings. They got to spend more time working with me one-on-one and all the things they need to do to get better as players. It's really unique. If I was a swing coach like I am for our PGA Tour player, Ryan Brehm, we'll have 8-10-hour sessions when we're getting him ready to go. We never get to do that with our guys in college golf. So I think they took a very challenging situation, flipped it a little bit and said, wow, what an opportunity to grow as humans, as students, and most importantly, not most importantly, but also as players. And that was proven in our last round of the year. We shot the lowest score we've ever shot in qualifying, competing against each other. So all in all, very successful season. I also do want to mention we're in the process for all you out there who get back to campus, hopefully soon. You're going to see a lot of construction on Harrison Avenue, where we're building a new outdoor short game area, which is going to really enhance our ability to develop our players. For the golfers that are listening today, the only thing that really matters at any level, but especially at our level, is those shots from 150 yards and in. And we're going to have arguably the best place in Michigan and one of the best places in the Midwest to work on those whenever we can plant some grass this spring and get that thing grown in. So all in all, it's been a very, very productive time, a time to really reflect on how we do things, and I'm super proud of them. I want to introduce our guy here who's joining us today. I don't want to steal all his thunder because I think he's going to talk about some of this stuff, but he's the highest ranked recruit we've ever signed in program history. He's a Columbus guy, which I'm sure he's going to go into. But what I like to talk about with Troy is I've been coaching 15 years now. I've never met anyone who likes to talk about golf more than this guy. He likes to talk about the tiny details all the way up to the big things, every shaft. He's got to analyze every shaft, every club. And I knew this about him early on because we started recruiting Troy when he was a freshman or sophomore in high school. And I will say during the recruiting years, I talked to Troy Taylor on the phone more than I talked to my family at times when we were traveling. He called all the time, and I always use him as the example of how you build a relationship with a coach and with a player through recruiting. We talked about everything, and because of those conversations, we developed a relationship that will stand the test of time. He's an exceptional athlete, which comes from a great pedigree, and he's learned to be a brilliant student, which he's taken very seriously the last couple of years. So, you're sideways there, Troy, with your camera. He's struggling with his camera today, folks. But look at that, there he goes. Takes an instruction.
There we go.
But everybody, thank you for all your support. We couldn't do it without you. I always say you get energy in two places in coaching. It's from your players and from your supporters. And you guys give us the energy to have a big season coming up next week. So, Troy, take it away. Welcome.
Thank you. First off, I want to thank all of you guys on here today and tuning in. And thank you to all the supporters that helped this be possible for all of us student athletes to excel and do the sports that we love. As Coach said, I'm Troy Taylor. I'm from Columbus, Ohio. I'm a junior. And my path to finding Michigan State was very unique in its own way. My father played basketball at Ohio State in 1981 to 1985, and on Bleacher Report is one of the top 25 best players that ever played there. And I've always just been around the Buckeye spirit. I played golf with a CBS sports announcer, Clark Kellogg, and Archie Griffin, two-time Heisman winner. So I've always had Ohio State in my blood, and always just thought I would be a Buckeye. And just one day, Coach Luban is at a tournament, and our assistant Dan Ellis was there and just watching me, and I was more just very intrigued in how much they were into me and showing love to me, that they wanted me to be a part of their program. So I decided to drive 4 hours from Columbus, Ohio, out of my comfort zone and come take a visit. And as soon as I stepped on campus, my dad, just knowing how recruiting goes, would just always tell me you would know the right place when you step on campus. And as soon as I got on campus, I automatically knew MSU was for me, and it took me a long time to get that through my head. And one day, just on Christmas Eve, my junior year of high school, I called Coach Luban. I just woke up and knew it was the place for me. And after that, just never have any regrets. And one thing that really brought me to MSU was the family atmosphere and Coach's motto of everything matters. He truly says that, and everything does matter, and it's shown in all of my teammates' lives, and including mine. Just every little detail that you can do, it leads into something else that can be great for you. So I've been nothing but grateful for what MSU has provided for me, just not as an athlete, but also as a student, with the great education that you can get here. So that was just kind of my backstory of getting here, and it was really great. And to talk about in the hard times that we're going through right now, just with COVID and how this should all be in person instead of virtual, it has really brought our team together in a great way, because our teammates have figured out, in golf, it's a lot of individual, and we've all figured out that you have to make a sacrifice for one another to keep each other healthy and the people around you healthy. And it's just been really great for us. Our team has been tighter than I think it has ever been. It's a really tight-knit group, and a lot of guys are really excited about what we can do this spring and this season, and try to be one of the best teams in the Big Ten and get a Big Ten championship and get to the NCAA championships, how we've always planned to do, and how our coaches have pushed us to do that. And MSU, I have one more year before I graduate, and just some things that I would love to accomplish and leave my mark, I guess, as a Spartan. in our golf program is lead our team and with my other teammates that are really great players to a Big Ten championship and continue to excel in the classroom. Coach pointed that. So
it looks like, Troy, we might have lost you.
Uh-oh.
I would love to
There he is.
finish education and then but it was just great, and I love being here at Michigan State, and I just want to thank all the donors and everybody once again for letting this all be possible for us, and we really do all appreciate it from the bottom of our hearts, so thank you.
Troy, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us today to share a little bit about your Spartan experience. And so I have to ask you a question, Troy. When you were down there being wooed by the Buckeyes, did they roll out Jack Nicklaus? Have you ever played with Jack?
I have not, unfortunately, got to play with Jack, but every other big name athlete that's gone through Ohio State I've played with, and they give me a lot of crap for it, but I would never change my decision for the world. So it was the right decision for me.
Well, we're honored to have you here at Michigan State. Thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you. You too. Have a great day.
All right. Take care, Troy and Casey. Thanks so much. Our head coach, our head softball coach, Jackie Joseph, was supposed to be with us today. And unfortunately, due to some unforeseen circumstances, she wasn't able to be with us. Jackie was very, very disappointed and sends you all an apology, but we've committed to Jackie that we'll get her back in the rotation for February. But as the saying goes, next Spartan up. So pinch hitting for Jackie today is our head baseball coach, Jake Boss. Jake enters his 13th season as head coach at Michigan State. His 342 wins are the most over a 12-year span in program history. 5 of the 10 winningest seasons in MSU history have come under Jake's direction. During Coach Boss's tenure at Michigan State, MSU has had 34 selections in the Major League Baseball draft, including 3 or more in 6 of the last 11 years. Under Coach Boss as Spartan head coach, Michigan State has earned the American Baseball Coaches Association a Team Academic Excellence Award in 4 straight seasons, from 2017 to 2020. In 2020, MSU got off to a 9-6 start after the first 4 weekends away from home, including opening the season 4-0, and later having another 4-game win streak before the rest of the season was unfortunately canceled due to the pandemic. Fun fact about Jake, his favorite TV show is Seinfeld. It's just not my favorite TV show, but a pretty good choice. So any particular episode or character from Seinfeld, Jake?
Yeah, I guess I'll show my age a little bit, Bill. Good afternoon. Good to see you. I guess maybe I appreciate some of the simpler things. It doesn't take a whole lot to get me to laugh, I suppose. But there's an episode with George Costanza and the marine biologist. It's got to be my favorite. I showed it to my kids the other day, and they looked at me like I was crazy. But, again, maybe showing my age.
Yeah, sometimes I've tried to do that with my kids as well, and sometimes those shows that we used to like when we were kids don't seem to pass the test of time quite as well as we thought they did.
That's right. They'll figure it out someday.
Someday. So how are things going in MSU baseball?
Yeah, things are well, Bill. Thanks again for having me, and thank you to everybody for tuning in here today. I would echo kind of what Kim and Casey alluded to. We had an unbelievable fall after a really tough spring. We were playing well, and we were 9-6 at the time with a tough schedule, and excited to get into Big Ten conference play, and then all of a sudden it was over. And so as difficult as that was, and Kim hit the nail on the head. Our kids are resilient. They took it in stride. It was very difficult, especially early. Right when it happened. But, with our seniors getting their year of eligibility back, I think really helped kind of ease that pain a little bit. And, some guys got a chance to go out and play a little bit of summer baseball. But, really, having some conversations over the summer about leadership and about, controlling what we can control and handling adversity and resiliency and things of that nature, I think really helped. I think our guys grew up a lot over the summer, and that was evidenced with the fall that we had. We had an unbelievable fall as far as our practice was concerned. And, I guess rewinding to the spring, before we get to the fall, our guys finished with the highest grade point average in our program's history, and currently hold the highest cumulative grade point average in our program's history. So we've been playing baseball here for 130 years. And so I think that's anytime you set a program record, I think that's something that's pretty special. And so, our guys kept their nose to the grindstone. They did a tremendous job in the classroom, and followed that up again with a great fall, both in the classroom and on the field. From a player development standpoint on the field, maybe as good a fall as we've ever had. We had a chance to play a lot of inter-squad scrimmage games. Guys got a lot better. Our roster's expanded a little bit, but the NCAA is given us a little bit of latitude there. So, it really enabled us to do some things that we haven't been able to do in the fall, and I think our guys really benefited from it. And so, coming off a long break from Thanksgiving and Christmas, we started up again on Monday, and guys really haven't missed a beat. We are only in it with our guys now for 8 hours a week until the next Friday, but they've worked hard over break. They've kept themselves in good shape. A lot of guys have improved. And we're excited to get going a week from Friday with regular team practice. And, much like Kim, we're still waiting on our schedule from the conference office. And as soon as we get that, we'll make it public. But I cannot even begin to tell you how excited I am to go compete with these guys this spring. It's, this is why you coach at Michigan State, to work with the type of kids that we have. And I'm just honored to be able to be associated with them. And so, with that said, one of the most impressive young men that I've ever had the opportunity to coach is Bryce Kelly. And Bryce is joining us today. Bryce is a senior from Rockford, Michigan. In 2020, Bryce had a big year and had a big year going. He finished with a 400 batting average through 15 games, was our center fielder for us. Bryce is 8 stolen bases away from the school record of stolen bases here at Michigan State. Again, that's 130 years worth of baseball, and Bryce has got is 8 stolen bases away from setting that school record. In the classroom, he's a tremendous student. He's the first team academic all-district multiple times. He's our Scholar Athlete Award winner a couple times for our highest team grade point average. Bryce also graduated in 2020 and had the option to take a job or come back to school. And thankfully for us, he decided to come back to school and is in graduate school now, working on his graduate degree. And again, he's one of our leaders on our team, just a tremendous baseball player, but an even more impressive young man who's got great things ahead of him, both on and off the field. So it's my pleasure to introduce you to Bryce Kelly.
Thank you so much, Coach Boss, for the kind words. Before I get started here, I just wanted to take a second to thank the donors and really everyone here at MSU that's made my experience so great here. As Coach Boss said, my name is Bryce Kelly. I'm working on my master's degree in finance now. It's my 5th year playing baseball. I just kind of wanted to share a brief story, specifically on the last kind of year and a half on my life and kind of the challenges I've had to overcome with COVID. So I'll start out with last spring. I kind of worked hard to graduate in 4 years with my undergraduate degree in supply chain management. And so I was on pace to graduate last May. And then the previous October, so October of 2019, I had a job offer. I accepted it. I worked hard to get a good job offer in the fall so that I could kind of get that out of the way before the season came around in the spring. So I didn't really have to worry about it at all while I'm in season. So springtime rolls around. We're playing great as a team. 15 games in, and then of course, COVID happens and shut the whole season down, obviously for good reason, for the safety of everyone involved. But at the time it was definitely a tough blow, definitely for the seniors in particular, but for everyone involved really. So about 2-3 weeks later, NCAA decides to grant everyone their year of eligibility back. And so for me, as soon as that came out, kind of put me in a tough spot for sure, because, I had this great job opportunity that I accepted for after college. And, as badly as I would love to come back and play with my team for one more year, I had an obligation to this employer and to this company. And so, I kind of went back and forth on if I should even reach out to the guy that recruited me and the guy that I accepted my job offer from. So after going back and forth a few times, I finally decided to reach out and just kind of test the waters and see how he felt about the possibility of me returning for one more year, if it was even possible to work towards a master's degree of some sort, and be able to come back a year later if that was possible. So I wasn't really expecting much. I kind of told him, if it's any problem for you at all, just let me know, and I'm more than happy to start my job with you come June. And so he gets back to me right away, gives me a call. He says, and he kind of put things in perspective for me. He said, "Bryce, you have an incredible opportunity at MSU. You get to be a part of an absolute great program on the baseball team, but then also academically go to a Big Ten school and earn one of the top majors and at MSU. Supply chain management is rated #1 best supply chain program in the country." And so he said, "I would be doing you a disservice if I told you that you need to come work for me right now." He said, another thing he said that kind of stuck with me is, "You're going to be working for 35 years, after you're done with baseball. I really strongly think that you should go back for one more year, have fun with baseball. And if you can work towards a master's degree while you're doing that, that would be great." And he said, "Any obligation you have towards me, don't worry about it at all. If you decide to come work for us later, that's great. If not, if you have other opportunities, that's fantastic too." And so for him to say that, it kind of made me realize two key takeaways. One, just how unique of an opportunity it is to be at MSU. The opportunities here are, you can do anything you want. MSU provides you with all the tools you need to be successful later in life. And then number two, it kind of also made me think that I should really start to consider this opportunity more seriously. I was kind of, like I said before, just kind of wanted to test the waters and see what he thought, and see if it was even possible. But for him to kind of say that, it kind of made me think, okay, well, let me try and think this through a little bit. So then it became an issue of, is there a graduate program that I can even get into at MSU? Because I worked hard to graduate in 4 years. So, but with the help of the athletic department, they were able to put in a good word with the program director for the finance program here. So I was able to get into that, which I have thoroughly enjoyed halfway through my program here. And then it became an issue of, well, let me talk to my family, let me talk to my fiance. I need to get their blessing first. I'm kind of throwing away a year's worth of salary that I could be having. And so everything just kind of fell into place. I received everyone's blessing to go back for one more year. And I ultimately decided to come back this year. And it's been an incredible experience. It kind of changed my perspective a little bit. Reluctant to admit, in the past, I think athletes sometimes kind of get into a role and the flow of things and can easily take things for granted. And, it kind of used to be like, oh man, I got to go to practice today. I got to go to lift today. Whereas this year, it's kind of a feeling of, I'm just so lucky to be here that it's like I get to go to practice today. I get to hang out with my teammates and my best friends, and and be around this environment for one more year. So, I can't thank everyone enough for this opportunity for the NCAA to be able to grant me this. Thank you for everyone who is listening here. Sorry if you've heard this story in advance. I've told it a couple times. So, but again, thank you to the donors. Thank you to everyone that's made this possible. And, looking forward to having a full season here at MSU come springtime and hopefully making everyone proud. And thanks again. Go Green.
Go White.
Go White.
Bryce. And Jake, I really appreciate you both being with us today. Bryce, I really particularly enjoy your Greenville Drive shirt there. Hopefully we'll get back down to Greenville as part of your season this year. Great minor league club owned by by one of our wonderful alums, Craig Brown. So
he's the best.
Hopefully we'll get you back down to Greenville this year, and good luck on a great season.
Thank you, Bill. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Bill.
Take care. Next up, head football coach Mel Tucker. Coach Tucker has been coaching for 25 years. He's coming off his first year as the head coach of our Spartans. Mel became only the second coach in program history to beat Michigan in his first game against the Wolverines. He led the Spartans to a win over Big Ten West champion and 8th-ranked Northwestern in Spartan Stadium on November 28th. Mel has coached and recruited 12 NFL first-round players, multiple Pro Bowl players, winners of the Heisman Trophy, the Butkus Award, and the Thorpe Award. He's been on 2 national championship staffs, the 2002 team at Ohio State and the 2015 team at Alabama, and has coached in 3 national championship games. A fun fact about Mel is as a child, he wanted to be a jockey when he grew up. So I'm curious to hear a little bit more about that, and at what point, perhaps during one of his growth spurts, that Mel, you realized that wasn't really in the cards.
That's funny, Bill. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, and so there's a racetrack there called Thistledown Racetrack where they run the thoroughbreds, and every now and then my dad would take me there and we watched the horses, and I loved it. And I told my dad I want to be a jockey. That's what I want to do. And he kept telling me, said, I don't think you're gonna be able to do it. I think you're gonna be too big for that. And I couldn't understand why until one day I think I was able to go towards the winner's circle, and I saw how small those guys were. I was actually already a little bit taller than a couple of those guys, and he said, "You see what I mean? You're not gonna be able to do that." So I was crestfallen, but I recovered and found my niche. But that's the story behind that.
Yeah, I think you're about 2 jockeys tall at the moment. So.
Yeah, or 3, or at least wide.
Oh. Well, yeah. Mel, thanks for joining us today, and we had a great season. I was just thrilled to be at that Michigan game and give you a big hug in the locker room. A pretty special moment for the team. And how are things going? We've had a strong recruiting year. One of the things you always talk about is recruiting is 365 days a year. And to those listening in, I can share that Mel lives and breathes that. When I'm over at the office, recruiting is always part of the mix, and things seem to be lining up really well for next year. So how are things going?
Yeah, things are going well, Bill. Yeah, we do recruit every single day. Recruiting is the lifeblood of the organization, and good players make you a good coach. Great players make you a great coach, and so all of our coaches know that they're not here just for X's and O's in the coach ball, but they're responsible to recruit. And I just reminded them on Tuesday that they're accountable to have good players at their position. We recruit by area, recruiting area, but we also recruit by position. And so I told him that's the one thing that's different about the NFL and in college. In the NFL, I spent 10 years in the National Football League. I've been through 10 drafts. In the NFL, if you need a quarterback, you need a corner, you need a D lineman, you may not get one. The draft may not go your way. Free agency might not go your way. And so you just, really you just have to coach the guys that they give you. But in college, you have a lot more control of your roster. If you need a quarterback, you need a corner, you need a lineman, go out and recruit them. And you can recruit 25 first-round picks a year, if you're good enough. So, I'm holding our coaches accountable to recruit so that they have. I told them if you don't have good players in your room, you don't have anybody to blame but yourself, and I'm going to hold you accountable for that. But recruiting has gone well so far. We had just on Sunday, we had our mid-year enrollees report. And so that went well. We had 10 guys come mid-year, 9 on scholarship. And I believe that because we're able to count 9 scholarship guys back, we still have 25 initials. So I'm looking to have 34 new scholarship players on our roster by the time we start fall camp. Some of our early enrollees, we have 4 high school players. We had Cam Allen. He's a tight end from the Dallas area, Forney, Texas. Got really good size, good ball skills. Ethan Boyd, offensive line from East Lansing High School. He had a really good season. We got on him early before he blew up. He's played basketball. We really liked his athletic ability, and he really came into his own this year. He started playing a lot more physically. He got some nasty to him. He was pushing guys around, and he's a tackle, offensive tackle frame. So we're really excited about him. Hamp Fay is a quarterback that we've been on for a long time. We were on him at Colorado. He's again a Texas kid from the Dallas area. He's a 6'5", 235-pound guy with a big arm. That's very athletic. He runs track. He ran hurdles. He can do it all. And then Michael Gravely is a defensive back that we brought in from my hometown of Cleveland. He went to the Gann Academy, but played for Glenville High School football. I've had a lot of success with that school with Ted Gann Sr. I recruited a Heisman Trophy quarterback out of that school. I recruited a first-round pick receiver, Ted Gann Jr., who I think played 14 years in the league, and then Dante Whitner. I think he was a top 10 pick for the Buffalo Bills, a defensive back out of there. Michael I think he's going to be a really good player for us. All of these guys, these freshmen that came mid-year that are here now, we're telling these guys to come in and be ready to compete, to play, and start right away. That's the mentality. We're not looking at red shirt any of these guys. And then we have some transfers and that we're excited about. Kendall Brooks is a defensive back from North Greenville University. We did a lot of digging, trying to find the best players. We're not chasing stars. We're just evaluating the guys and seeing who are the best fits for us. We have some connections with him and Musid Muhammad, a great Spartan player. So we were able to get him here. He's a safety. He's extremely physical, just like Gravely. We got Jared Horst in here. He's an offensive tackle from Arkansas State that we had to fight for. It came down to us in Oklahoma. He chose us, and then Oklahoma came back in on him about 2 weeks ago, and he held steady with us because these transfers, they don't sign anything. They're only really locked in with you until they start classes that semester. We got Drew Jordan, defensive end. He was a former 4-star coming out of high school. Graduated from Duke. He's been starting since his freshman year at Duke, defensive end. Their co-defensive coordinator, was one of my quality control guys in Jacksonville for a season. So I've got really good information on him. And he's going to be a first and second down defensive end for us, and he can also rush inside or outside. And I think if we get him down to about 250 pounds, to where he needs to be, he'll be a force for us. Anthony Russo is a quarterback we got from Temple. He's got a lot of touchdown passes, got a lot of production. He's got a big arm, and so we're expecting him to come in and compete for a starting job at the quarterback. And then Kenny Walker is Wake Forest's best running back. We're able to get him here. He's here now. Really good balance and body control. He's stout. He's got a really good build. I think he was a Doak Walker Award finalist, and he's a really, really good football player. And so, those are the guys that we can talk about. And then the rest of the guys will be coming in the summer. The high school guys, they'll come in June. And also we're still active in the portal, looking to acquire guys, every day. And some of those guys will be coming in June. And some of those guys might even come, just when we start training camp in the fall. And so, we're adding players all the way up until we start fall camp. We had to restructure our personnel department to account for the new landscape and recruiting, because of the recruiting rules now and the transfer rules. Players can transfer from schools and be eligible immediately. And so there's more than 10,000 players in the transfer portal right now. And there's 5-10 guys go in the portal every single day. So we modeled our recruiting, our personnel department, just like we had it in the NFL. In the NFL, you got the college side of the recruiting, and you have the pro side. The college side, they scout all of the college players, and the pro side scout all 32 NFL teams, and that's for free agency purposes. And when guys get cut and put on waivers, they know the league. So we've done the same thing here. We have we have certain people in our personnel department that recruit, that they really monitor the high school and the junior colleges in terms of identifying players and evaluating them. And then we have a couple folks in personnel, and all they do is monitor the transfer portal, which is basically a full-time job. And then also in personnel, we have our recruiting department, and that's really our marketing. Those are our marketing people. They don't identify the players and evaluate them, but they recruit them with mailers, texts, and phone calls, setting up virtual tours. And then when we're able to have people on campus, the campus tours and things like that. So I feel really good about the direction of our recruiting. We're also very active on the 22 class, 22 process-driven class, and also on the 23s. And hopefully the dead period in recruiting will be lifted, and we'll be able to leave campus and recruit and also have players here. But when some of these guys reported on Sunday, that was the first time we had met those guys in person. First time that had actually seen them live, face to face, is when they stepped foot on campus because of the COVID rules and the dead period. Our Spartan training programs starts Monday, January 25th. We're going to have 8 weeks of that. Phase 1, the coaches won't be involved. It'll just be our strength and conditioning staff. And then phase 2, the last 4 weeks before spring ball, our position coaches will be involved in our program. And I told Coach Novak that I wanted this Spartan training program to be the most relentless and ruthless and rigorous off-season conditioning program in the history of college football. So he guaranteed that we will have that. We got our second signing date, February 3rd, to sign more high school players. And then on March 23rd is our first spring practice. And so, we're looking, we're right in the swing of things. We took some time off. In the office, we're always recruiting, but we're back at it doing our self-scout right now. I've been working with the defense quite a bit and got an eye on the secondary. We got one position to fill. As you know, Mike Trussell moved on to University of Cincinnati as a defensive coordinator. So we're looking to hire a defensive backs coach to either coach corners or safeties. We'll probably have that wrapped up by this weekend. But other than that, we're just full speed ahead, and I really appreciate everything that y'all do for us, all the support. I can feel it. We did have a couple of big wins this year. I believe that the most improvement comes from season 1 to season 2. So I expect us to have a better football team, a stronger roster, and I expect to win more games and not be sitting around watching bowl games at home like I was this out of season. So I don't know if you have any more, if you got anything else for me, Bill, before I introduce Matt Allen. Any questions? If not, I'll bring Matt Allen on.
No, go right ahead. Bring in Matt.
Okay, yeah, Matt is quickly become one of my favorite players. As you know, it was a challenge to get to know these guys, because of COVID and our late start. But Matt he's what being a student athlete is all about. He's a leader, both on and off the field. In the classroom, he graduated in December with a bachelor's degree in food industry management, and is a 3-year letter winner as a starting center. He's always represented this program with great pride and class and respect. And Matt was injured this season early and had to sit out, but he was adamant about wanting to come back and use another year of eligibility that was offered to him. He wanted to be a part of this program, and obviously we wanted to have him back. So we're very fortunate to have Matt back for another season. So his time as a Spartan is not done yet. So with that, I'll just turn it over to a great Spartan, Matt Allen.
How's it going, everybody? Thanks for the introduction, Coach. But I'll just jump right in. So the biggest reason I chose Michigan State was because family, and obviously my brothers Jack and Brian, but it wasn't just because of them. It was my teammates as well, because looking back on my entire time here at MSU, I won't remember the scores of the games or the records. What I'll remember are the relationships that I built with my coaches and teammates, and that's something that they've all left a very huge impact on me, and I'll be forever grateful for the experiences and memories that I've made with them. And in my time here at MSU, there have been a lot of ups and downs, but I wouldn't trade it for the world, because it taught me how to be a better person. It taught me a lot about growth, and it taught me how to work hard. When I first got here, I really felt like I was just like disappointing my family and disappointing their name. And, I just basically had to reassess my whole life and my goals and what I wanted to do in my time here. And one thing I'll say is that in life, there's no gift as overlooked as failure, because, when we lose a football game, there's a lot more details that go into watching that film and watching that tape and making sure you're realizing the things you've done wrong. And that's one thing I always realize is, and Coach D would always say it, is football is a game of inches. And it's really true. Every game this season, no matter what the score was, it came down to execution and us having to do what we do. And for me personally, through these failures, what I learned is just to be brutally honest with myself And I really just had to be real and honest with myself, because that was the only way I was going to find that friction that would push myself to where I wanted to go. And then hard work. Yeah, we definitely learned a lot about hard work here through Coach Manny and the new coaching staff that's come in. And just the amount of life lessons I learn every day is a gift in itself. And I'm very thankful for that. But I'm a big quote person. So one quote I'll use from David Goggins is, "Don't focus on what you think you deserve. Focus on what you're willing to work for." And, for me personally, like, I really tried to become like addicted to hard work and like almost make it an obsession to the point where people think it's a sickness, because like even like passion and obsession and talent are only useful tools if you have the work ethic to back them up. And that's one thing that's definitely been instilled in me when I was a little kid, and something that's definitely been reinstilled in me once I got here to MSU. And the last thing I'd say that I've definitely learned here is just thankfulness, because learning, like in my time here, I think I've taken a lot of things for granted, but over the years, I've just started to cherish the fact that I had the opportunity to play this game, because very few people get to reach this level of competition, and no matter how hard they work, they'll never be able to walk out on a football field like I get to do every day. And just having that opportunity to compete is a gift in itself, and I need to treat it like that every single day, and that's what I've been trying to focus on lately. And by God's grace, I'm here today, and I have a responsibility to work hard and honor God through my play and benefit others and make a difference in the world. And it's really been a privilege and a dream come true for me to be able to play football in the green and white. And I just want to say thank you guys for all the support over the years, through all the ups and downs. You guys have always had our back. So thank you for that. And thank you for listening. Go Green.
Well, Matt, thanks so much. So let me throw you a little bit of a curveball question here. As a graduate now, what's your you have a favorite class or a favorite professor?
I don't know. I've had a lot of good professors over the years. It's kind of difficult to decide between like all of them, I'd say, but I'm trying to think. Tough question.
Well, that's good. It's good that that's a problem. That means we're doing well on the academic side. So, Matt, you're a great representative of not only your family but Michigan State athletics, and I can't thank you enough for being a Spartan and for being here with us today and sharing a little bit of your story. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And Coach Tucker, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, Bill. Thanks. Go Green.
Well, that wraps up this edition of the AD lunch. But I thought I'd share with you a little fun fact about myself. I pester all the coaches into this, and so one of the things that I'm a little bit of a Spartan collector. And the 2014 Rose Bowl, I had the privilege of being on the field during the trophy reception, and I sort of snuck around to the back of the stage and pulled a little bit of the red grass right off the center of the field, and made this little card for myself, a little card that has turf from the Rose Bowl in that 2014 win. And I carry this in my wallet every day to remind me of that extraordinary success. And it's such a joy to hear Mel and Matt talk about their program. And I'm confident that very soon we'll be back. So that wraps up today's AD Lunch. Our next and final AD Lunch of this year will be Thursday, February 18th. So please be on the lookout for an email to register and the lineup of our next set of head coaches and student athletes. Again, we can't thank you enough for all you do to make MSU athletics so special. If you'd like, visit SpartanFund.net to make a gift so our student athletes can pursue the best version of themselves. Until next time, go green, and thanks so much for being with us.